So can you first state like what your business is about, what you guys do?
Yeah, so Start Somewhere is about bringing affordable housing to disadvantaged communities in the world. And we have for that, developed a new construction system out of interlocking hollow concrete blocks. The idea is to bring industries to those disadvantaged communities, for people to produce those blocks themselves, to have a value creation locally, and to easily build affordable housing with it.
Great. And we found each other on LinkedIn. We got in touch. What was the reason that you started working with me?
Well, to be honest, I found myself after the R&D and prototype phase a bit lost in like building up the business. I didn't have that clear goal, and I was feeling extremely stressed and overwhelmed because most of the tasks I had to do were also not what I studied, basically, being an
Yeah.
architect. And so I did feel at a level where I was sure I couldn't continue working like that for long, because otherwise I'm just gonna burn out. So I needed some idea, on how to be the leader of a company, basically, yeah. And
Yeah.
because the team had grown bigger, we are over 20 people now.
Yeah. In two locations in the world as well.
Yeah, in two locations, right?
Yeah.
Germany, Kenya, now expanding to South Africa, and yeah, so it became a bit overwhelming. Like I was dealing with people's tasks all the time, and
Yep.
problems on my table, and it was eating me up completely, emotionally, time-wise, and that was too much
Yeah.
not to
Yeah.
be able to continue. And I saw your video, sounded promising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we worked on a lot of things, right? As you said, like we worked on your tasks, on meetings, on prioritization, on team leadership, on communication. What are the biggest highlights of what we did together?
I think for me it was the point of prioritization. Yeah, that is probably the most important now that I found for the business. Yeah, and I would say really to be like, okay, judging, does that opportunity or does that task help me to reach my goal, or is that am I doing this task only because somebody's shouting very loud? Yeah.
Yeah.
So to sort of differentiate, okay, or to also say what is the most important task to reach my goal, and maybe maybe sometimes being German, you want to do every task that is on your table, yeah, but that doesn't lead you anywhere because you're missing out on a lot of opportunities, I guess,
Yeah.
if you don't reserve some time for the very important ones. And yeah, through that, I managed to let go of some tasks where I didn't have to be in control, in charge. Maybe there's some part lost, but there's much more gained on the other hand. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
focusing on the right one. So I think for me that is probably most essential business-wise.
Yeah.
And the part of okay, being able to do some, reserving some time for myself, structuring my time, uh, having dedicated time where I can work, dedicated time also for some only myself time, being the CEO, being a father, being a family man at the same time, traveling to Kenya, traveling to South Africa, things like that.
Yeah.
You think you have zero time for yourself, but you need that time for yourself in order to be able to be a balanced person and to
Yeah.
be able to make good decisions, yeah, because your whole team basically relies on your decisions, yeah, and if
Yeah.
you're constantly stressed out, you cannot make good decisions. And I
Clear.
think that helped me, and where I'm at getting there, huh?
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
put it into
Absolutely.
practice. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah. And in practice, what are the things that we implement, right? Because we worked on the golden hours, so implementing 2 hours in the morning where you just focus on the most important stuff. You also implemented like a movie night for yourself just to have that blocked off. You started your biking Wednesday, so just 1, 2 hours after work just to clear your head and get into your sports mode. What other things are practically changing for you in the business?
Well, I mean, I'm as I mentioned already, I'm delegating tasks, yeah, and I may, end up focusing more on the general strategic development, let's say.
Yeah.
of the business, so I have more time to think about what I do instead of just doing and doing and doing. And I mean, these things, as you mentioned, you know, going out there to bike, after work is a lot of fun. Going trail riding and then clearing the mind, and then I go back to work on the next day, and I'm there with a completely different perspective. I don't have that nasty to-do that I took from last night, you know, still in the morning there, and I'm tired, more tired and more tired, and there's the opportunity swimming past, and I'm like, oh yeah, but I still have to write this email. Yeah, so it shouldn't be like that. Yeah, so it should be like, I should be alert. Okay, today's a new day. There's an opportunity, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Is it helping my goal? Then I take it. Yeah. Then the to-do has to wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Clear. Yeah. So basically, you're starting to, I'm not saying you weren't, but you're switching more into a very concrete CEO, because when, as a CEO, you're delegating more, you're more into strategic stuff. Like you're kind of like climbing towards that actual CEO role now that everything is changing around you, basically, and how you work.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say so. Yeah, that's sort of where I'm going. Definitely feels better. Yeah, because otherwise, I think the problem is you can't be a CEO and a worker at the same time. Which is, I guess, what everybody sort of has to be at the beginning, of course, but then as the team grows and everybody comes to you with his problems and his decisions, and then you have to be like, okay, I can either now sit with you for 1 hour in that meeting, or I could even be like, okay, come to me with a proposal how to solve that, and then maybe the problem solves itself already.
Exactly. Yeah. Interesting, huh? And I guess all of the things that you ended up not doing, as you said, like transformed into you having more time and thinking space for opportunities. And there's a lot of things that changed in the business, and there's a lot of opportunities already that you guys want to address and to claim. There's also a couple of things that changed very practically. You said, for instance, when we started, you only worked 3 hours per week on the business, like the strategic stuff, and now you're at least 8 hours into doing that. So that's already a big change. Your stress level went from a 7 to a 4. Your feeling of being in control went from 4 to 6. And you feel like you're able to turn off your head a bit more. And I think that has a lot to do with going to biking days, doing those golden hours, right? And I think also something else that we did was we worked with your other co-founders. We did 2 sessions with them as well to kind of realign. What was the effect of that?
Well, first of all, it was mainly, I would say, bringing it to the surface that we were maybe not so aligned anymore. I think in general, yes, we are sort of aligned, but there's still, we don't know because we don't talk. That's the problem, because we just do. And we lack the time of reflecting. We lack the time of aligning our goals. And now we are in that very, I would say, very critical phase, where it's okay. We've done our prototype, we've done our proof of concept sort of, and now it's about, okay, which direction are we going for scaling up the business? And now that's the time, what investor comes on board? Does an investor come on board? Where do we want to go? Which route is the one that we feel comfortable following as a team? And I think only then we can. That was like bring that awareness, that consciousness,
right,
say, to ourselves, and also probably waking up a bit in my co-founders that, oh, okay, we need to change something.
Great to hear. I want to thank you also, because I know there's a lot of things that you had to change, had to say no to, do differently, and it comes with a lot of discipline. And as you say, it's all work in progress. It's never going to be perfect, but at least you have this intentionality now, right? Of this is how things have to be. It all has to be aligned to the bigger goal, and you have to be taking care of yourself in order to be in that CEO position. So thank you for putting in the work.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. No, I think it's really, either you have a quality of life or not, right? So it's by the end of the day, and that's more sustainable anyway, because
absolutely
like this, okay, I can do it for 20 years,
no.
Not another year.
Exactly. Clear. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.